Where were you when the king died, Hamlet? When your father became nothing but a holy ghost with a long black veil, walking the halls of a dead castle, of a decayed society, of a snake devouring its own tail. You always knew there was something rotten in the state of Hartford. But what did you do when you came back to it and you saw it and you knew? And you knew what they did. You knew the false king who put poison in the ear. You just fucking talked about it. You talked about it. You were making funny jokes about your dick. You played mind games with poor Ophelia, and she drowned. Then you killed her brother. And as your father's ghost walked in the background, begging and pleading for some restoration of social order, you just fucking dicked around. You talked about speaking the speech, but what did you do? Nothing. Until it was too late, you know. One nation indivisible. America digs out and digs in like fucking Lazarus from the pit. You remember? Remember when George Bush and Rudy Giuliani were heroes? Do you remember that? Do you remember how in many ways they somehow still are? You got Michelle Obama cradling him. Remember these popes? Who, oh my God, there's a systematic rape of children and small children, innocent children. A systematic network of privilege as we sit on this hoarded gold. We turned away the Jews. We helped persecute countless people. Or inherent racism, or inherent love of classism. But hey, we got Francis in front now, so it's fine. These false fucking heroes we're still so blind to see. And we this warmonger, when 9/11 happened, we were so blinded by the ash and the soot that the state of Denmark became obscured. And it became not even decayed, not rotted, but bolstered, but strong, but a fucking prison. Like the prison of your mind when you're too busy getting cocked. The amount of things that were happening when I was at Trinity College when Barack Obama became president, like all these, it's all a background blur to my own fucking psychodramas, my own false idols, my own infinite jest. Horatio, I knew him well. Total Depravity, Part 5. Staring back at me. Boards on the window, mail by the door. Why would anybody leave so quickly for Ophelia? Where have you gone? The old neighborhood just ain't the same. Nobody knows what became of Ophelia. Tell me, what went wrong? Was it something that somebody said? Mama, I know we broke the rules. Was somebody up against the law? Honey, you know, I died for you. Alright, so really long story short, because the details are... I get suspended, but, you know, I don't learn my fucking lesson. I think I learned my lesson, but it's the wrong lesson. Because I'm a real quiet American, you know. And I end up, you know, it takes some time, but that's the time when I'm fucking living with fucking Miles. And here's the deal, like, I was still sort of like, with Renee, just writing out the relationship, thinking I was gonna, you know, graduate. But no. So instead of fucking being able to drink and smoke weed, I'm fucking popping pills all the time, thinking I can hide it from her. And I'm kind of able to, because she pops pills. I used to steal pills from her, so, like, she doesn't want to see my lie, because it would reflect her lie. And haha, got him. I learned it from my parents. And, so, you know, she transfers because rightfully she figures out Trinity's just an insane, toxic, fucking worse than fucking rotten in Denmark. She flies the coop, and I think, free at last. Nah, the enslavement has just begun. So I fuck around and I find out, you know. I act mainly, not even because I was drinking again, you know, but probably, maybe, you know, I was probably still a threat. I started seeing somebody else, an intermediary. She was beautiful, another beautiful, beautiful lady, But trust me, if Renee didn't come back to finally press the in school charges and get me suspended, I would have been fucking a coke fiend. I would have graduated fucking, and maybe I would have probably gotten into Teach for America, which is fucking oppressive white bullshit anyway. But I would have done that while probably have sustaining a real heavy addiction. Like because once I could start affording it, once I started getting a real job, as I learned later on in life from different stories, yeah, it would be trouble. But and even the boys, what was left of them was fucking corrupt as shit. Let me tell you, man, the shit, fucking, oh my god. And like they came through to try to help me out, during the process. But it was just fueled by just drugs and madness and mania. And we're like, oh yeah, man, well, if we can prove this, we can take out Purdue Pharma. And then I'm like, oh yeah, man, that makes a lot of sense. Fucking risking people losing their visas for them for trying to talk about lying. And I'm just there like, oh, frozen, literally. Thank God they could have a wheelchair to wheel me around and that fucking shit I needed. I was fucking comatose. Fucking despondent, living off fucking ginger candy and chain smoking cigarettes that had literal shit in them. Alright? Long story short. So suspension goes, and it's kind of a relief, I just I take it. It was nice. At least a little bit of honesty, Then I take a few pills from the boys before I leave behind their back, get a little fucked up, a little twisted send-off party for Moffat once again, And hey, there's Miles around. So I get back in by, again, the grace of the constantly dying ladies' man. And end up dating somebody again, This one seemed different, though. This one felt very like, I don't know. Again, I think a lot of it was just codependent enabling and Jesse needing a Jane to really push him, but I don't know, this seems like, again, I'd taken the time this time, a little bit, What was I doing with the time? I was fucking on my bed, fucking popping triple C's and fucking taking a ton of valerian root and, maybe not taking the hard drugs I used to take, but recreating them the best I could with over-the-counter stuff, so just frying my brain all the more, Benadryl, fever dream. You take enough Benadryl, it's the worst hallucination you'll ever have in your life. The most terrors. I'm talking a fever dream where I didn't know it was a fever dream, Shadows in the distance, Like those falling bodies you repressed from 9/11, Like the shadows of that man Frank when he molested me, and I don't remember that. But obviously he fucking did, because once the shadow infected me, I became Frank. My middle fucking name, I became Frank. To somebody else. That's how the cycle perpetuates, because you don't see it, you don't speak it. You fucking don't, you hear it though. You hear it, that's the thing. That's why drug addiction is usually like auditory hallucinations that can get real fucked up and tinnitus and that ringing in the ears. Like people who just lived near there and they heard the cacophony. It was one of them, aside from all the fucking poison and the asbestos of the soot. Total depravity wasn't what happened then at 9/11. It's what's been unfolding every day since then. And the total depravity in my life wasn't even, those rough nights with Renee. It was what I allowed to unfold afterwards, the cycles that continue to perpetuate. I came back, maybe I was better. I was just older, so I was smarter. But when I was re-enrolled, I tell you what, and I'm responsible because there was the dude Rourke who I jokingly was like, hey, you kingpin, man, because you're fucking selling weed. Nah, man, this dude is not just selling coke, selling dope, selling heroin, I talked about these people before, and this is when, and again, I knew it maybe at the time, which I think is why, like, eventually after I graduated, the house almost turned against me, that rising sun, that they loved me so much. These were my friends that I met on my way out the door, my first attempt at a senior year, and they were there. Like Drew Summer was really nice to me then. We smoked a lot of weed, and he was so comforting and kind. We talked about it. He was a nice kid. The freshman, I remember freshman when Rourke busting in the Clio. He's there, and he fucking so drunk, so twisted. He's Florida man. He's Florida man in a nutshell. You know, I'm just gonna call him Florida man from now on. Okay, spare him a little bit, but he's very guilty of some really bad things, and he hasn't really atoned for them. So, Rourke McCormick, you're gonna have to learn one way or another, and please don't let it be in a body bag. There's enough fucking corpses that are insane that haunt me, and I'm not gonna have you make one of them. Okay, whatever happens, you're gonna face it. You're gonna own up to it, like I did, like I just did. It's easier than you think. But this is about me. So, these kids, they were just like me and the boys back in town, back in the day, you know. Oh, it's so much potential. And I was like, yeah, you guys should go and join Clio, yeah. It did something like it ruined me or anything. Nah, that was me, my problems. So, yeah, of course, a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B, but trust me, I saw enough repeated patterns to see that house. The house of spirits, of evil spirits. And all the cultish practices, although, you know, we'd be literally blindfolded, you know, that was part of it. And it was like, okay, it's just for a weekend, so it's not bad like the other fucking things. But no, I remember when I joined, there was a girl who, when she was blindfolded, a guy, wasn't even a fucking Trinity student, he was just a fucking, turns out, fucking, you know, he's a nice guy at the time, Pete. But nice, fucking weirdo, fucking middleman heroin dude, old dude, creepy dude, fucking there, and he's grabbing her boob. When we're running up and down the stairs going chug, 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 and people are there mocking me, doing the Delta Kappa Epsilon, you know, no means yes, yes means anal, you know, whatever the fucking thing is, you know, ironically. But trust me, I wasn't the only member there who was like, that's the crazy thing. That's why I got a little bit of chip on my shoulders. I got comeuppance. Maybe some would argue I beat myself up more than maybe I deserved, but that's the male ego. I don't trust that. But the amount of people there who I know hurt women, really hurt them, really, really hurt them, and they got away with it. And then we tried to say no and stop and then ban them, but they'd find a way to sneak back in, that snake, you know. And the names would change. There was this kid, Bryce, and this is a guy who worked. He was a genius, like a Mensa genius. He almost became like a state senator when he was like at Trinity. This dude was brilliant, and he just clearly, and now in hindsight I realize, oh man, this dude was probably on some horse too, man. Because he was like, again, you'd be like, oh, they're just fucking drunk. That's the excuse. You're like, oh, same with my dad. Like, oh, he's nodding out in front of the TV, you know, with his dick in his hand and the fucking, you know, his belt loosened because he's just had a couple beers. Total depravity, staring right back at me. When are we going to see what's in front of our faces? Ophelia, where have you gone? Was it something that somebody said? Oh, Mama, you know we broke the rules. Oh, Mama, you know we broke the rules. We broke more than just the rules, didn't we? Broke each other's hearts. Ashes of laughter. The Holy Ghost is clear. Why do the best things always disappear? Like Ophelia, please darken my door. They got your number, scared and running, but I'm still waiting for the second coming of Ophelia. Some homes you can never go back to, and there's some madhouses that need to be burnt down. And maybe they dodged that holy fire once or twice before, but at a certain point, what's done in the dark lightened up.